Well, who would have thought it, everybody? Southend-on-Sea really does have some incredible history. But it would take another 300 years or so for Southend to truly establish itself. This incredible Saxon and Norman church here at the very heart of Southend-on-Sea. Southend-on-Sea is home to great theatre, bars and cafes. It is the largest city in Essex, and with its very own airport. During World War II, the town was sealed off and renamed HMS Westcliff, and Southend-on-Sea is officially the warmest and driest place in the UK. Who would have guessed it? But before we venture down on the seafront and explore the pier and the seafront's many attractions, we need to begin our journey here in Prittlewell, because this is where the history of Southend-on-Sea truly begun. The village of Prittlewell is now a district located at the northern edge of Southend-on-Sea. Historically, Prittlewell is the original town, Southend being the south end of Prittlewell, and not much more than a small coastal hamlet consisting of a few fisherman cottages. An important archaeological discovery was made in Prittlewell in 1923 and 1930, when Roman burials were unearthed, but more excitedly, evidence of numerous Anglo-Saxon burials were discovered too, a significant number of which were high status or warrior burials containing weapons, imported goods, jewellery and decorative beads, some of which were made out of glass. The high status of the area during the Anglo-Saxon period was confirmed by the discovery of a substantial and undisturbed 7th century chamber tomb in 2003. The burial site was uncovered by archaeologists from the Museum of London. This chamber tomb is thought to belong to King Sigebert of Essex, and many of the finds can be explored on the Museum of London website. The story of the excavation was also thought so significant as to be the subject of a special documentary titled King of Bling as part of the Time Team series. Now, let's fast forward through history a little, as apart from the incredible tomb, the Dark Ages haven't really left us much in a way of historical context, and although there is evidence of prehistoric settlement here, it was the medieval period that saw the true beginnings of Prittlewell and ultimately Southend-on-Sea. One of the earliest mentions of Prittlewell was in the Domesday Book of 1086. The book mentions that before 1086, the area was owned, or at least occupied, by one free man. This Anglo-Saxon is of no name and had 2 cobs with livestock consisting of 8 cattle, 30 pigs and 100 sheep. For those who have never heard the word cob before, it's a measurement of land varying from 14 to as much as 28 feet. So this chap had a parcel of land measuring no more than 56 feet in length. He certainly squeezed a lot of animals onto there. By 1086, the tenant-in-chief here in the manor of Prittlewell was a guy called Swain of Essex. The entry also makes mention of there being a church too, which is interesting as the oldest church here is St Mary's Parish Church. It is built mainly of Kentish ragstone, the same stone used to build much of the Roman Wall of London. Parts of the church date back to Saxon times, and in the north wall of the chancel there is the remains of a 7th century Saxon arch with Roman brick. The church continued to be enlarged during the medieval period, with the tower being added in the 15th century. Okay, we're going to have a quick exploration here of St Mary the Virgin Church here in Prittlewell. So I've got the church behind me now, and round this side is actually where some of those old Saxon remains still exist, and you can see the old Roman brickwork still present in the actual church walls. So this would have been one of the original arches of that Saxon church. So here's the Roman brick here, those red bricks. Incredible. 2,000 years ago those bricks were made. Let's have a little explore. Look at the tower. The tower's huge. Look at that tower there, everybody. Okay. Looks like a stunning, stunning church. Let's have a quick exploration of round the outside. Wow. Look at that, everybody. That incredible, huge church tower. And there's a statue actually just about there, everybody. I don't know if you can actually see that. That's a huge tower. So here's a little bit of footage, everybody, of the outside of this incredible Saxon and Norman church here at the very heart of Southend-On-Sea. Our next stop here in Prittlewell is Prittlewell Priory, which was founded by the Cluniac order as a cell to the Priory at St Pancras at Lewes, East Sussex. Prittlewell was one of the lesser monasteries, housing no more than 18 monks. In 1536, much of the building was destroyed, and what remained was much altered during the 18th century. Alterations were made again in the early 20th century when the refectory was restored and partly rebuilt. A number of original features do survive, including a 12th century doorway with chevron and dog-tooth ornamentation. It's an interesting historical site that still survives here at the very heart of Southend-On-Sea. Okay, we're gonna have a little explore here of Prittlewell Priory, which is literally just behind me, and let's have a little wander around the outside of this fascinating building here in Southend-On-Sea. And we're going to head through this gate just here, everybody. Well, it's a stunning building. I do love these historical buildings. And the history behind these priories is incredible. So here we have that very old doorway I just mentioned with dog tooth ornamentation all the way around. Wow, it's amazing. Now, there would have been a lot more buildings here at one stage, but it was destroyed during the 16th century. So what we see now, today, is pretty much all that's left. Okay, it's a bit dark down here, but we are in the original cellars of this incredible priory. And even these floors down here, these floors are all original, everybody. It's quite something, isn't it? Wow. Look at this, everybody. Now, that's the actual doorway that I was standing at outside. I think we have covered plenty relating to the early founding of what is now Southend. But it would take another 300 years or so for Southend to truly establish itself, and when it did, Southend would develop as a bathing resort. Due to the bad transportation links between Southend and London, there was not rapid development during the Georgian era, as was in places like Brighton. But after the coming of the railways in the 19th century, and a visit by Princess Caroline of Brunswick, Southend's status as a seaside resort steadily grew. During the 19th century, Southend's Pier was first constructed and the cliff areas developed, attracting many summer tourists to its 7 miles of beaches and sea bathing, with the eventual good rail connections and proximity to London meant that much of the economy had and still is based on tourism. Okay, we're down here on the seafront now, everybody, and we're going to explore that very famous British landmark that is known as Southend Pier. Southend Pier is the world's longest pleasure pier at 1.34 miles or 2.16 kilometres. It has suffered fires and ship collisions, the most recent incident occurring in October 2005. But the basic pier structure has always been repaired. Not only is this the longest pier in the world, but it's also home to the first pier railway in England. The railway dates back to the early 1890s, whilst the pier dates back as far as 1829, with an iron replacement made in 1889. Southend-on-Sea is home to great theatre, bars and cafes. It is the largest city in Essex, and with its very own airport. During World War II, The town was sealed off and renamed HMS Westcliff, and Southend-on-Sea is officially the warmest and driest place in the UK. Who would have guessed it? Yhana and I are going to complete our adventure here on Southend Pier, and we would like to thank everyone for joining us. Until next time, stay safe, keep well, and bye for now. Bye everybody, and thank you.